All right. I have Ninh joining me from Snapbrilla, talking about how he got into the Cardano ecosystem and how he's involved in the ecosystem as well. And I'm pretty excited to have him on and learn a little bit more about his contributions and everything that he does. Ninh, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Pete. Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. So let's get into a little bit about your background first. Can you tell everyone how you got into the crypto space and then stumbled into the Cardano ecosystem?
Yeah. Crypto space, personally, I remember when I was in college days, right? Finishing college, and Bitcoin just launched. And I remember food trucks in SF were offering pizza for 3 or 4 Bitcoins or something like that at that time. And I thought, well, maybe I should buy like a mining machine or build a bunch of strap a bunch of GPUs together to do that. But I was a broke student at that time, didn't have any money, right? And decided not to. And instead of buying a mining machine, I decided to buy books. I guess almost everybody has that story. But long story short, as a personal investor, been in crypto space for a while, right? But more recently, I went in full time when in February we decided to start building our startup on Cardano, because literally my team was pivoting from what we were building before, which was coding assessment, technical assessments, because in 2020 I put almost 1 million people in tech in jobs, 938,000 in some chump change. Right, we had Google and Facebook and Amazon, Visa, and Mastercard as clients, literally A to Z. But then when I look into the data, less than 13% were underrepresented and self-taught, and I thought, something's wrong with my data, right? And I look into it, and there was only like 1 to 2% error rate. I talked to a couple of my friends who are pretty high up, like VPs and heads of engineering and recruiting at these big companies. And they said, Ninh, coding assessments is like the #1 blocker for people who are trying to break into tech, especially those who are like completely new, may not have the support network, right, to study. And oftentimes that's like someone who's underrepresented, people in third world countries who don't have the time or the money to pay for literally tutors, right? And it's coding test just a test.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually measure how good you are. And Pete, you're deaf, right? And it. I thought that really sucks. Like, and if the average failure rate is like 60 to 70%, right? Coding tests disqualify underrepresented self-taught people 50% more often. So for them, the failure rate is 90 to 95%. So, when people wonder, like, why don't we have, more minorities in tech? That's why, right? They're not offered a fair chance. And people don't know about that because they think, oh, test has to be objective, right? It's because it's just a test. Either you can do it or you can't. While at the same time, the best people I worked with, the best people I worked with, right, they didn't always go to Stanford or Berkeley or Harvard or one of those Ivy Leagues, right, where they have resources to actually prepare you for those coding tests, how to pass algorithms, databases, and system design questions in order to break into tech. And when you look at like Google, Facebook, and all these big tech companies who are major employers, right, they employ like hundreds of thousands and millions of devs, right? They all have that as a prerequisite because one company started it just to really weed people out, to filter people out, while at the same time, like engineer managers and leaders, they just don't have any alternative. Like, how do I tell if someone claims to have Python or Java on the resume that they can actually code and do the work, right? There's no alternative. So it's kind of like a necessary evil in today's world. There's a lot of necessary evils, and I just didn't accept that answer, and I thought this is a big problem, big
really
enough
interesting.
problem for me to tackle.
Yeah. So it's really interesting that you bring that up, because in my own company that we've got, the best hire that I've ever done was just some random kid that messaged me on Skype. Skype, this goes back a little bit. And he just messaged me out of the blue saying, oh yeah, I did a little bit of programming. Can I come in and just give it a shot? And he was a phenomenal developer, absolutely brilliant. Anything that we threw at him, he worked out. Anything from, new programming languages, writing Python scripts, leveling up in Ansible and deploying some brilliant server as code stuff. He was absolutely brilliant at his job, and he leveled up to senior engineer, and he was only 23 or something, but he's been coding since he's 13, and he wasn't even studying any computer science stuff. It's just pure passion that he started when he was young. Absolutely loved coding, but he was doing architecture, building architecture at university, and that's where he was going to progress to. He was just doing coding for fun, but he was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, he would not have made those tests because he wouldn't have been prepared for any of that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really like you hit it on the nail. The best people I've worked with are oftentimes people who are super passionate, do it for fun, right? They have passion, grit, and heart and mind. And if you put your heart and mind into anything and you do it for long enough, you're gonna be good at it. I don't care what it is. I truly believe that almost anyone can learn almost anything, right? That talent is universal.
Yeah.
But you look at the other side, right? And you look at internships and entry-level jobs, right? You guys probably had to take a chance on him, right? Because if you just posted a job somewhere, there's a lot of other, quote unquote resumes that you get that promise you the world, but you don't know, are they real or are they fake? And even they are able to pass the coding test. Anyone can go and lead code. It's free, and study for the test and just study for that test. What funny thing, I talked to the director of engineering, he told me, yeah, I remember the time when, coding tests only have 100 questions at most, right? And now there's 500.
Only 100.
And 500,
wow,
just like a category, right? And he asked me, hey, Ninh, do you know why? And I said, dude, I have no idea. Tell me. And he's like, well, it's because of people who are just cramming and just studying, right? So we had to come up with more and more and more crap to essentially make it harder for people to remember more and more, right? And there are professional interviewers, professional test takers that can do the test, but they cannot do anything else. So
wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, the failure rate, think about it. If you get a software engineering job at Google and one of the big tech, it's $250K straight out of college. Obviously, right? You will study.
Yeah.
But if you're you care about doing something real and solving problems, right? You probably don't have as much time to study, or you come from, not so privileged background, right? You go to a school who doesn't have all the resources to, have clubs for you and all of that, right? To help you get there and motivate, even where to go, lead code. I had a friend who's now senior machine learning engineer at a big tech company, but when I met him, he didn't even know about lead code. Right, and he's he was a first generation immigrant from, I believe it was somewhere in Africa.
Yep.
But you have this this spectrum of of people who have skills, they learn, they're super talented, they care, and they ultimately for me part of why I got into Cardano, right, was because I'm born in Vietnam originally, right? Vietnamese like you. But then I grew up in Czech Republic, and somehow I make it to US. And every time I moved, right, my life changed because opportunities changed, right? But my life also changed when I got my first job in tech, starting with my first company, right, and then at Google, right, and then onwards to another tech startup. But when I first got a job, I remember because I was living in Silicon Valley. I think it was like in Oakland, right, deep in the hood, but still, you know, uh, valley, so super expensive. I remember, wow, now I can afford to buy a house and to stay here, right? I can afford to get married, have family, contribute to my community, and I deeply believe that anyone, regardless of where they're born, should have the same opportunities, right? And that's in part why Cardano, right? There's like tech stuff,
Yeah.
peer reviewed, and security, and all the amazing the EU Texo model, right? That Cardano offers, and staking on layer one and all that. But beyond that, it's like a lot of people who are involved in Cardano are global citizens, truly, right? They care about removing borders and red tape, and like Charles talks about building economic identities for people and helping them do that, so that they have more opportunities to unlock more doors and contribute to society. So
So
that's why I'm here.
how does Snapbrilla and all that and what you're doing, your startup, tie into the Cardano ecosystem then?
Yeah, so we are building on both Hyperledger Aries and Atala Prism, which is the decentralized identity layer framework on Cardano. The Prism team, Tony, Anushka, Lohan, Pete, like all the people in that team, like super amazing people, and they are really like rooting for everybody who's building. Number one, right? And number two, we're really focused on, like empowering people to own their own data, own their own careers, identity, right? Because what I did with my last startup is essentially I aggregated data across like LinkedIn and GitHub and Stack Overflow and Kaggle and all of those, right? We had a lot of people in our database, like information on everybody, and we essentially resold this data to big companies to be able to get in front of people and pitch them opportunities to come and switch, right? So I have the same access, same data. We've rebuilt the whole database, but instead of now selling people's data, right, I'm driving these people to come and build on our platform to get access to gigs and bounties and hackathons, like real projects, right? When they're finished and done, they're automatically enrolled into this decentralized identity market, where they own their own data, they own their own employer history, right? And whatever they have on their on-chain reputation, that's what we call it, or on-chain practical resume, whatever you may want to, like, different names, right? But the records are verified, they're trusted.
Sounds good.
Right? Like if you want to hire like somebody like for that Skype guy, right, who work for you guys, like you work at a lot of projects companies, and all that information is pretty much confidential, right, for good reason. Like there's projects and stuff that you can't share about, right? We all sign NDAs, but at the same time, like they would be fine to, like most employers would be fine to verify, okay, he worked here and these are the skill set that they used, right, to infuse trust in someone's resume. It's not something that like anyone can just edit and load with keywords, right? It's based on real projects that are incentivized, they are paid, that you own, and you can fully control what to share and what not to share, right? Maybe you messed up in a lot of projects before, but that's because when you learn, to be able to support zero knowledge proofs, and that goes into like ways we contribute to the community as well, right? But really to empower users, right, to build the future, not just and do that for now. We have like hundreds of millions of people, 870 million and some chump change, right? In our database, devs, any tech stack, any chain, designers, marketing people, whatever
That's
you
a
need.
lot of people.
That is a lot of people. A lot of them are completely new to Cardano as well. So if you're hiring or if you have a project, you're looking for adoption, even for Cardano Press, right? You guys want to get in front of other WordPress developers. I have all the emails, all their social links, so I can do a social campaign, email marketing campaign, all that good stuff. Get them to work on your project. People who work on your project will adopt the project, right? Implement it into their own website. That's true discoverability. And once they are able to do stuff and accomplish real things, not just pass a test, right? That goes into their DID wallet. They can control, and we're making it interoperable with the World Wide Web Consortium, Credential Consortium Group, short for W3C CCG. But they have like big companies like PayPal, Visa, and Mastercard, and all the big guys, right? Big tech companies. And what they do is they make standards to make this interoperable. So, including like MIT Credential Consortium Group, including Walmart and others, they're part of that, and they're all driving towards like, one DID standard. That if someone, let's say, graduates from MIT, gets a bachelor degree or some certificate, right? They can take that and just import it into our system, move it into our system. They still own that data, right? And then use that, and you'll see, okay, this guy has, MIT certificate or works on a couple projects over there. They can do a bunch of stuff here, right? Prove that they can earn money, right, with their skills, and then go somewhere else, apply for loan or whatever. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. There's a lot more, but that's the most exciting stuff that I'm excited about. Decentralized identity. Yeah,
it's pretty big. It's pretty big, and I'm really glad that you're working against the W3C standards for that, which I think they've only just implemented it recently, from what I read on the documentation. And it really should be a web standard, because when the internet was built, who would have thought that we needed digital identities online? But now it's being rolled into that standard, so everyone can use it, and be like HTTP protocol. It's like this is how the internet works. This is how a browser should interact with it, and this is how digital IDs should work, and how companies and people should interact with it. So brilliant that you're working on the standard, and this is all going through Project Catalyst as well. You've got a Catalyst proposal to get this funded and working.
So funny story. We decided to build on Cardano at the end of like February. We took a whole month to do like Ethereum versus Solana, right? We're like meeting every day for almost a month, and then literally the last mile meeting where I was expecting, let's go with Solana, right? It's pretty much like right there. Frank, my co-founder, he's like, hey guys, we should consider Cardano. It's my dream project. I always wanted to build on it. I saw Charles like the whiteboarding, and I'm like, what the hell is Cardano?
So you spent another month doing Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano now.
No, right? I just spent like 2 nights just researching everything. I'm like, okay, and then pros and cons, right? And Frank really drove it home, like all the technical advantages and non-technical advantages, right? The smart contract just released, and we would be one of the first apps, and so on, and we can make a big impact. And little did I know, like, that there was even Catalyst. I thought, okay, let's build a community, see if they like it, right? See if this is a good choice. We chose Cardano correctly. So I joined on the second town hall, I think somewhere in mid-March or something like that, of Project Catalyst, right? And they were just talking about stuff. I was literally drinking from a fire hose for the first month, probably 2 months.
Absorbing it all.
Yeah. There's like so many Discords and Telegrams. I never used Telegram before, right? And all of a sudden I'm like 20 channels, right? And then I got the taste of...
And now any time I open up Telegram, you're there.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Like I've been to, I try to join every meeting just to meet as many people, see how it is, right? And then quickly I realized, like, I thought, wow, I work 16-hour days, 6 days a week. So do my co-founders. So we're like, yeah, we work harder than everybody else. And then we meet the Cardano chain, and then it's like 24/7. So, literally, I was trying to join like
Just taking it
meetings
up
at,
a level. Yep.
yeah, 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, just to, and it was really, really fruitful.
Yep.
We went in it just to build community. I did one proposal to build the mentor-mentee gigs and bounties that we're doing today, right? The marketplace for that. And I joined one of the SWAR meetings, and they were talking about DREPs, delegated representatives, voting, and whale effect on voting, and so on. And we're trying to model, like, bringing Gitcoin to Cardano, like quadratic voting, open source funding, and and gigs, and drive
Yep.
more devs into the ecosystem. So we weren't planning on doing that, but because of the discussion, a lot of passionate people like Felix, Joe, Steve, like people who are super involved in Catalyst, and super, also very, very passionate people. Melanie, right? Uh, they, they they were very passionate in the discussion. I'm like, hey, have you guys heard of quadratic voting? And then one thing led to another. I met Kenrick, I met Nori, right? And we got funded for both of them. So I did funded. I put two
That's brilliant.
proposals in. Yeah, one by the skin of its teeth. But altogether we got like almost 2,200, almost 2,300 unique wallets vote on those two proposals. So we're very blessed.
Wow, that's good. That's really, really good.
Yeah, we could not have done any of this by ourselves. And then, we promised that we'll deliver, pretty much end of July, and we did. A ton of bugs, a lot of critical bugs
Brilliant.
first week, so we had to fix it. And then we got first paying customers. They came back to us. Clint Alexander from Tangent, right? He was looking for some TypeScript developers to help him build the staking, on Cardano, using like a ADAO open source ecosystem. So really like growing the open source ecosystem on Cardano. And in a week, I reached out to like 200 people, 170 people opened my email, about like 96 clicked on the links itself, right, to check out the gig, and then 86 replied. Like majority of those, like, yeah, I'm really interested. I want to get into Web3. So within a week, they had like 20 active devs, and then they found one really good lady who's a full stack developer, loads of Web2 experience. And this is a quote from Clint, right? Loads of Web2 experience, some Web3, which is a plus. She's already on our Slack helping out. And I think we can recruit her after the successful bounty. So, making shit happen.
That's brilliant.
And moving
That's
fast.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's absolutely brilliant. Now, I do want to go into Project Catalyst and some tips for other people that are currently in Project Catalyst at the moment, Fund 9, which is active. So you've had proposals that were successful, voted on. You've had experience in this. You're in the Catalyst Telegram groups and Discords, constantly helping other people out. So I want to get some tips in regards to anyone else that's doing proposals right now. How can they get their proposals in front of people and get voted on and hopefully funded successfully? So any tips, anything that you can share from your knowledge, from your experience?
Yeah, so in Fund 8, one thing that worked is I joined every single town hall, like 95% of them. And there's literally a town hall every single day at different hours of the day too. And not just join, but actively be engaged, right? If you're new to Catalyst, maybe you listen for like a week or two just to kind of ramp up quickly, and then you just need to add value. And think of adding value, really help people, right? Join the discussion. I met amazing partners that way. Reach out to people to collaborate. right? One thing that's different about Catalyst than anything else, it's mission-driven innovation, right? Everyone there has a mission, just like we have a mission. Like our mission is to drive 1 million underrepresented and self-taught people in tech, right?
Yeah.
So if there's any project out there that does something similar or really, can self-identify with our mission, I'd love to chat with them, collaborate, so we can accelerate the solution. Because the problem is big enough that even like if 100 companies get on this and try to solve it, right, at least 1 to 3 should be successful, right?
Yeah.
And there's enough space for us all, to be honest. For Fund 9, right? So what I did in Fund 8 is I joined all the town halls. I did all the idea fest. I think I did like 15 presentations in that 1 month, right? So 2 every week,
Yeah. Okay.
So like a combination of Cardano over coffee, podcasts like these, right? Reaching out to people, building partnerships. A lot of the voters are proposals are voters too, right? And follow up on those partnerships. And partnerships two-way street. Not everyone's gonna be like, yeah, Nin, love to work with you. Some people are just busy and they just post a proposal and that's it, right? Others are like, yeah, I'm down, and I still talk to them, chat with them today, and they're helping us build. And over time, you'll find more and more partners, more and more people, right? Even we've had people join our team, even from Catalyst, right? So beyond getting in front of people, just get in front of people. If you don't market, right? If you don't care, why should anyone else care? If you don't have time, why should anyone else spend time to vote and go in and sign up for the thing and vote for you, right? In Fund 9, we have 4 things in there, right? And we're super blessed. We got the number 1, number 2, and number 3 top proposals by PA rating, right? Of all of Catalyst, 4 of them have perfect score. Our challenge setting for open source development does not, but still number 1 in its category for challenge settings, right? And the things that and this thing is like, I could not have achieved this by myself. Like, there's no way, right? I try to do my best and let God do the rest. I believe, right? So it's something that He always delivers, and of course you still have to like grind, right? And show your faith. So here, same thing. I probably did like 40 presentations in the past month and a half. I still do them today, right? There's different impact fest. There's more like idea fest. Did the official idea fest, get other team members involved. And this time around, it was a little bit different because first time around, I was completely new to Cardano. Nobody knew me, right? And people were saying, "Hey, Nin, you're just trying to take the money and run, right? But I don't believe you can make it. Like freaking 3 months deadline. You're gonna go from funded to release, right?" And we did. We just did. Kept our words because words mean something to us. We're not perfect, right? We released bugs all over the place, but we fixed it. Within a week it worked.
Yep.
Drive value from there. Build the plane as we fly. We built a community. We kept the promises. I'm still in town halls. I'm still very much involved, right? I have a little bit less time this time around, but Catalyst is important, right? So that's why I spend my time there. And when we hire
Brilliant.
from the community too. So yeah, be involved. Number 1, be involved. Assessment score is the number 1 thing that matters a lot, right? So get in front of people. Like, a lot of proposals are also assessors, right? Reach out to people, ask them for help, right? and then be ruthless when it comes to flagging your assessments. I wrote like 38 pages of assessment flagging, and it's not to say, right? I want to apologize if I flag your assessment. I know, like personally, how long it takes to freaking write 1 or 2, 3, or 10, right? So it's
Yep.
just a lot of work, But as a proposer, I have to do it, right? And somehow the VPAs decided, okay, he's reasonable and helped us filter out everything that was below 555. So.
All right. Brilliant. Okay. There's some really good tips there. I'll just recap real quickly for everyone. So be involved, and what your tactic was, joining every single town hall that you could, did over 15 presentations in a month, which is absolutely amazing. And then you said the assessment scores are highly important. So make sure you reach out to the assessors and have that all sorted for you, so you can get that really high score rating that you guys got as well. And then work with people, partner up, join that community, because people are the ones that matter. They're out there. Next one was believe in what you're doing. If you don't have faith in it, why should other people? You gotta stick with that. And then deliver. Words mean things to people, so you got to make sure you deliver on what you say, and then keep involved, which is absolutely brilliant. It's all about community, this Project Catalyst. Without the community, without the people supporting Cardano, you have no project, no support either.
Yeah, we like I said, we've been super blessed, and it's like, Cardano Catalyst community is one of those communities where you give and you get like 100 times back, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And that's why I love like spending my time there, right? One of the proposals that we did, we're like, wow, we got funded for Fund 8, and I was just, what can I give back to the community, right? So I just got like 150 tickets to Consensus, some of which I bought at 90% discount, right? And others I just got through corporate sponsors or from Consensus directly. I just gave it away to community, like proof that, and see what happens, right? And I didn't know it, but I went there. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. The Cardano community is like the bomb, right? Everyone's having fun. It was really awesome. Like, we and the people we sent, like some of the people, like ADAOZ people, freeloaders, like so many. I don't even know everyone's name. I just like, hey, you want a ticket? And they went in like 2-3 hours, like that, right? And people came back. They wrote a bunch of testimonials on my proposal. I was like, yeah, I want to do more of this and send more people to conferences, to like Rare Bloom and CNFTCon and so on. I think for Rare Bloom, we're going to have over 100 tickets too.
Whoa. That's awesome. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Just to be able to blast people back and, like people give back. We got funded by Catalyst Cardano. Our first paying customers were from, Catalyst projects, right? The people in our community, except for developers on our platform, everyone's pretty much on Cardano at this moment, right? So we had plans to expanding and go elsewhere and serve the bigger Web3 community, right? But for now, it's been amazing. So I became a very staunch supporter of Cardano. Mostly just because of the people. Technology is just
especially when you clear this year and you were choosing Ethereum or Solana, and then suddenly you had Cardano thrown into the mix. So that's absolutely brilliant. But what we'll do now is I'll grab those proposals for you. I'll put it all in the show notes so people can read up on it. I'd like to grab your old ones as well, and so that the way people have seen what you've done and the proposals that were funded and what you delivered on, and then also the new ones in Fund 9. So we'll get all that, and we'll dig into it deeper so everyone can have a look. And thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge as well, and your tips around Project Catalyst. And I'm pretty sure if anyone wants any help, they can reach out to you on Telegram or wherever you may be, and get some support and some tips in regards to what they can do.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. I'm very blessed. Always, right? I think we just talked about in like Pacific Town Hall, like, hey, yeah, I saw the Cardano press and all that, and I'm like, hey, Nin, let's let's do this call. you know. So for me, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, I hope we get funded, and I hope I'll be able to, give back to the community more and more. But I also hope that some of the things that we do, right, that people will be able to take ownership of, right, and do more conference giveaways, or to be even better like Cardano ambassadors, right? Go out there and spread the gospel, Cardano gospel, as I said, right, and have a good time. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be
we're a
doom and
religion, right?
gloom, right? And yeah, we're called. Dor said that for Catalyst at least, and get more
Yeah, yeah.
like-minded people, right? Like nobody wants to join a chain that's like all doom and gloom, right? Although
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
technology that we have, like, yeah, we can smoke every other chain for sure. That's why I'm here in the first place, right? But once you get
Yep.
to know the people, and that's like the cherry on top. So yeah, if you guys are Catalyst voters, please check it out. Vote. If you are looking to go to conferences, right, hit me up. I have tickets already. Okay, so we're just thinking of strategies how to distribute them wisely, because we want to support other Cardano
Yep.
projects too, right? Especially those that are throwing conferences and meetups for people. And lastly, if you're hiring or if you're looking to get in front of devs at this moment, maybe we'll have designers, marketing people later. Please check out Snapbrillia.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debating.